First John chapter 4, verse 1 says, Beloved, believe not every spirit, but test the spirits whether they are of God, because many false prophets have gone out into the world. Todd Hall is a false prophet. He is the pastor and founder of Shabbat Church in Apopka, Florida. He fits the description of a false prophet because, number one, he is arrogant and he thinks too highly of himself. He claims to be so influential that it makes him a target of his critics. But the truth about his critics is God is using them to expose him as a false prophet and is warning people about him so that they don't get deceived by the foolishness that comes out of his mouth. Number two, he's presumptuous. This is a man who says anything that comes to his mind to prove he's gifted. That method of manipulation is called the guessing game, and it is the same method that psychics use. This makes those so-called prophetic words he gives vague, and that's what confirms that those half-suggestive, half-inquisitive back and forths he has with the people he's giving those words to are made up on the fly, or he's using generalized suggestions and questions that he learned from an experience will work on most people, just like all good psychics and false prophets do. And number three, he's a false teacher. Todd Hall teaches the very popular prosperity gospel. In fact, everything he says and does, whether it's preaching, teaching, and prophesying, has in some way, shape, or form something to do with money and material things. He speaks eloquently, while he skillfully uses the gimmickry of fabricated stories to exploit people or to take them captive and take their money. Now, the newest controversy that he stirred up for himself was about a month ago, when from the pulpit of his church, he literally gave a message to a woman in the congregation from her recently deceased daughter. And as he stood in that pulpit, he said that he was hearing a voice telling him to tell her that she was okay. Yes, Todd Hall stood in that pulpit and willfully participated in the occult practice of necromancy, which is communicating with the dead. This is expressly forbidden by God in both the Old and the New Testament. But what made it worse was that there were many people in that building that night that were cheering him on. Todd Hall has that call and response style of preaching that he infuses with quid pro quos. Now, what I mean by that is, as he's preaching, he says things like, there are X amount of people who, if you shout real hard at what I'm preaching, I'm going to ask God to bless your finances, heal your body, save your unsaved loved ones, and so on. Did you catch that? He said, for those who stroke my ego, he will ask God to bless them, as if he was some kind of mediator between them and God. Listen, we all know there's only one mediator between man and God, and that's Jesus Christ, his only begotten Son. But you would expect nothing less from a man who, without a least bit of humility, introduces himself and prefers to be introduced as Dr., Bishop, Prophet, and Pastor Todd Hall. A man who says that if you sow into his ministry, you will be blessed. And a man who says that he's not going to die because he's another Elijah, and like Elijah, he's going to get caught up. Todd Hall's a master ear scratcher, and that's why he has such a large following. Listen, we're living in the last days, and Jesus warned us that false Christs, false prophets, and false teachers would be everywhere. Todd Hall is one of them. So pay attention, and you won't be deceived.